The U.S. CDC has adjusted its recommendations for the length of quarantine after possible exposure from 14 days to 10 with no test or symptoms, or 7 with a negative result. We've also heard early data shows the Calgary International Arrivals Pilot Project has a positivity rate that's quite low. So in your view, what hope is there based on the science and data that we could be making adjustments in how we handle quarantine and isolation periods as we move into the vaccine stage?
Yeah, so I have watched that, and we have had talks nationally about this, and that is for travel-related quarantines from people coming into the country, and yes, there is a case to be made, particularly for 10 days. The chances of somebody, depending on what the type of exposure is that they had, so somebody traveling from a country with COVID, so somebody coming in from potentially from the U.S., there's very few people that show symptoms between day 10 and day 14 who have not shown symptoms prior to that. And if you have a negative test around day 7, then your chances of having symptoms in the second couple of days or the second week of the incubation period go down even more. But this is only for people who are traveling at the moment. The types of exposures that are included in that are very low risk exposures. So this would not be appropriate, for example, in a healthcare facility outbreak or a family transmission event. So we are looking at that, and we're having discussions nationally. I think it is a way to try and make things flow more smoothly once we start to travel again. I want to say that right now we are not recommending that people travel. As a matter of fact, we're recommending people don't travel outside your community. It's time to stay local here in BC and in Canada, and my counterparts across the country are giving that same message. But these are strategies that we are certainly looking at nationally.
Just in terms of the vaccine rollout, you are giving a bit of a timeline as to when the first immunizations may occur. But I'm just wondering, for the general population, we've heard that across Canada it could be as long as a year. Do you think that's a reasonable timeline for most people to expect when they may be vaccinated who are not fitting into any of those high-risk areas?
Yeah, so we are planning to be able to put vaccine into arms. The first week of January is what we're planning for, to make sure we are absolutely ready by then at the very least. We know that we expect that we'll have 2 vaccines to start with. The Pfizer vaccine, which is approved for use, I mentioned yesterday, in the UK and is under review right now by Health Canada for what we call a notice of compliance, which is a license for its use here in Canada. And so as soon as that product is available and licensed, we will be ready to immunize people. The second vaccine that is in the pipeline for a notice of compliance in Canada is the Moderna vaccine, and Canada is expecting to receive that as well. And again, we're looking at the first week of January to be ready for that vaccine for both products. But they're likely to be the only ones that we'll have early on in 2021. And we have about 6 million doses across the country of that vaccine that we expect to come through the weeks of January, February, March. So that's not enough for everybody. What we do know, though, there are at least 2 other products that have submitted or are in the process of submitting data to Health Canada and to regulatory agencies around the world, the AstraZeneca vaccine and the Janssen vaccine. So those ones, we hope, will be available and ready in the province sometime around second quarter of 2021, and by the time we get into April of 2021, we're expecting increased numbers of all of the vaccines to be available, and that's when we can start offering it to more people across British Columbia and across Canada. But it will take some time, and we need to sort of sequence it in as we go, because we can't do everybody at once. But as long as the vaccine continues to come in, as long as the safety and the effectiveness is good, we expect, and what we're planning for, all of our planning constructs is to be ready to start the first week of January and to hope to have everybody done by September of next year. So we expect there'll be a good lot of people who will be immunized by the summer and through the fall next year. But by the end of the year, anybody who wants vaccine in BC and in Canada should have it available to them and should be immunized.